Cock-a-doodle-doo. Me for you.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another Saturday morning live. I don't know if you were able to hear that. I heard it a little choppy, but let us know in the chat if you were able to hear
Oh, you know
that.
what? This calls for a second time. Let's do it again.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Let's see if you can hear it. Let me change the comments so I can know.
Oh,
Well,
Pee heard it. He's
I
laughing.
think-
So I think it went through.
Cock-a-doodle-doo. Me for you.
There we go. So that was we're trying to play with different things to put for our introductory slide. And good morning seems to be very boring. So now we're gonna go with just Furby waking up, which I think is perfect.
I think that's really good. I'm gonna go ahead and Furby's trolling us. We should have done it for like April 1st, right? No, I think I'm gonna create an actual slide with that embedded. So we'll work on that with a beautiful video.
It reminds me
So
of the
good morning. Oh, sorry. So
No,
good
go ahead,
morning,
go ahead.
everyone. I am Porcelain Piggy, and down here we got.
Mighty Max Toys, and welcome back to yet another episode. It's crazy how many episodes we've done, and how many Saturdays we sat here talking about toys,
Together.
talking about events. That is so cool. But yeah, don't forget to subscribe, comment, and share. We want this show to reach as many people as possible, and we do want to get rid of the duck. Now, let me go ahead and stop sharing now, because let's just go ahead and take a moment, because guess what?
What?
My laptop broke. So I just want to take that moment and acknowledge it, because I gave you so much grief for having a janky laptop. Well, and now I'm the one with the jank. I'm the one
It's literally
with
being held with tape as we speak.
I can see the cables going down, and there's a hinge coming. It's just awful, guys. So-
Imagine a Sentinel broken apart, and that's what his laptop looks like right now.
Indeed, and that's a really good little hint there for things to come later down the road. So just wanted to make sure that karma went back around. Now I'm the one with the jank, so I will be fixing it as soon as possible. We do have an amazing show for you guys today, and we're going to talk current events as well as events happening and also no longer happening overseas in Japan. So it's a bit of an international episode today, but we'll definitely touch upon things that we can actually drive to right now. Okay, so
we have an RIP for your computer from Bambi Raptor.
New one. And you know what's crazy is I should prioritize fixing my laptop. I should go to the repair shop, get it done, or go get a new one. It's fine, either or. Because my job depends on it. I definitely use it every single day, but I don't know if I have my priorities straight.
You do not.
And I'm like, you know what? I think I should stop.
Buy a lantern. I should go buy a lantern.
I this is how it went. I said, I think I should stop. GameStop has these. Boom, went to GameStop. There they were. Got two of them. Now they shipped them up, and one of them is old jank box, man. It's all destroyed. This box is super bent.
That's Amazon quality shipping right there.
Yeah, and the thing is that okay, so the box was in mint condition outside, the factory box, which means that somewhere in the factory, this guy's got jank. But I'm gonna open them. So
somebody just beat up the box and they're like, "Send it that way, send it that way."
I could cry about it, but I'm literally gonna open all of these, so whatever. Now that said, let's go ahead and get into it.
All right, share the slide with me, and I can go ahead and add it to
Cock-a-doodle-doo.
I see you.
I was looking
And
for the all gone now for late, but I
hmm,
forgot that Baby Furby says that.
yes, I can go ahead and get some audio for us.
Oh yeah,
So one of
you
the
can literally record them. Like you have all of
yeah,
them. You can
yes, I have
create
all the
audio files.
choices.
You have it in Spanish too?
And Japanese.
Okay. That's it.
I'm missing Greek. I need Greek Furby.
Okay, what is going on? It seems like every freaking weekend it's a frog down free crawl. What the hell's
Yeah,
going on?
so okay. I know that's what I'm feeling as well. So they literally are celebrating their 1 year anniversary. And because of their 1 year anniversary, the weekend before they did the prom. So there wasn't a crawl that weekend, it was just the Frogtown Fleet crawl. And I was getting such FOMO when I was seeing everybody's photos from it. I was like, that is so cute. And it's just an excuse to wear, those thrifted prom or gala dresses that you find in thrift
Oh,
store like
really?
constantly. It was stunning. It was beautiful. Total FOMO. I would have loved to go, but we have plans that weekend. But
Yeah.
hopefully, maybe if it makes it next year, I'll be so down to go to the Frogtown Fleet prom. But today we do have their special anniversary. It's gonna be from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. It is free of entry, and they'll have the same stops as before. I think there'll be like one less, so there won't be the speed dating this time around. But I'm pretty sure they're gonna do some really special events, and that's gonna be happening this Sunday.
You know, with the amount of coverage we give it, they should literally be a sponsor for the show. Like we have had him nonstop in the show for the past 3 weeks or so. Geez, back to back to back free advertisement. Wow. So Frogtown Flea crawl happening this week. Frogtown Flea, go ahead and contact us because I think you owe us a check. Now,
I think I'll contact them so they can go ahead and tell us how it started and what the inspiration was behind it all.
I know, but the thing is that you're not going to them, so like they're not seeing, oh, this girl, man, she could be our influencer. But anyways,
Nah, they have so many. They have so
yeah,
many.
I imagine so. And that's really cool that we're bringing attention again back to the LA River. And yeah, it's a lot, but if it becomes like a permanent thing and people are cleaning up and enjoying the river, hopefully the city has, you know, or furthers its plan and let's go more funds to make the river beautiful across the board from
Agreed.
Glendale all the way down to the beach. Now, today I like how janky this slide is
You're welcome.
because it mimics just how janky Todd McFarlane's freaking posts are. To literally posted it. Just searched for GameStop logo on Google, put it on a laptop, and spun it. It's just like,
I love that. For me, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna pretend that he made this slide.
yeah,
There you go.
absolutely. And that's the other thing. He also has other people who can make this for him, and no, he does it. It doesn't matter. And see, GameStop coming through, perfect. So thank you very much, Todd Father. Like this figure is the Hal Jordan. I've been so waiting for it. I have, as you can see, I bought two of the same, but one body, it's already reserved
Oh, ooh.
for Sinestro. So I'm gonna make the Sinestro Green Lantern. It looks gonna be so good. I just need to paint his neck green, and it's gonna be so dope. Last week I was able to get a updated Jean, which is great. So
Nice.
super happy. Finally, my Green Lanterns are looking freaking awesome. But anyways, what's going on with Toddy Mac?
So pretty much this week, starting from tomorrow all the way to the 27th, there'll be special sales and releases all week long in store and online at GameStop. It's the McFarlane Toys Week. That apparently he says it happens every year at
Yeah.
GameStop. But for me, I'm like, I don't follow it, so I didn't know. But when I saw this, I was like, let's bring it in. So anybody that's looking for any of those McFarlane figures or any special releases that might happen that week, if you pass by your GameStop in the mall or just drive past one, you can actually like stop by this time around. Maybe they'll have a little bit of extra stuff. Have you ever been to this event?
Yeah, I have absolutely. I have a GameStop that's pretty close by, and they definitely do get more stock. But
Mm.
now McFarlane has diversified. There's a lot more statues. There's a lot more like non-toys, like concepts. So it's just like okay, some things are easy to pass for me, which is great. Although I gotta say, I am in the lookout for that Penguin and Starfire and Blackfire Silver Chase. So far, they're still sold out. Hopefully, this brings them closer because
Out
yesterday I built a shelf in my garage just for
for
DC,
them.
and I have a section just for the Teen Titans, and I'm missing the Starfire. I have a
Starfire.
perfect Starfire here, but it
Yeah,
is a
she's stunning.
she's beautiful, but she's out of scale for the common figures.
I see.
Yeah, this is a gorgeous action figure. Yeah, she's in permanent display over here. Love her. But anyways, so if you are into Tony Mac figures, definitely go ahead and stop by. Starting tomorrow, right? So today they may have the stock, but they're not going to release it.
No.
Now, what is going on with this pastel? Pastel. By the way, pastel in Spanish means cake. So you could
Yes, it's
have a
like delicious.
pastel, right?
Yes, yes. So Harajuku Day is happening today from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. at the Little Tokyo Galleria. And the theme for today, because every week, every month that they do one, there is a theme. And this month is Pastel Party. So bring out any like pastel colored items that you want to wear, any course, any case that you want to do that are pastel. And just wear them out. It's like I know last year the theme was like pastel picnic. I think this time around they just kept it as pastel party. So if you have a cute little cord that you've been working on that's nice and pastel, this is the time for it to shine.
That's cool, honestly. I like how there's a lot of fashion, related events now, which means that you can have a very exciting week just planning your outfit. I know my wife does all the time. So this one is great, but I don't think you're going to this one, right?
No, I'll be going to the one in May 4th. That's not going to be in Little Tokyo. It's actually going to be in City Walk, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, City Walk. And I'll be wearing at the
Wait,
Coral
wait,
look
wait,
for
wait,
that
wait,
day.
wait. City Walk or Hollywood Walk of Fame? There's a huge
Hollywood Walk of Fame. Sorry, I always get those confused. Is that's why I was asking you. It's the Hollywood Walk of Fame. There you go.
For a second, I thought, oh, we're gonna go to the City Walk. That's great because Hollywood Walk of Fame is a freaking dump.
It's at the dump, but it's gonna be on the second floor of
Okay.
the I forget the name of the location, but it is at the Japan LA house.
Okay.
Um, yeah. So
So
we'll
it's,
talk
it's
about that when
inside
we
of
come
May.
to it.
Thank God.
Yes.
Thank God. We'll definitely cover it in May, and in May, hold on to your butts because there's going to be a lot of things happening, including free comic book day. So definitely stick around for May. A lot of things happening. Now, for the classic Star Wars, they see ya. I'm telling you, Star Wars. We have Harajuku Day. We also have Free Comic Book Day, which now has evolved into an actual like event. And oof, yesterday, no, on Friday, I went to my local comic book shop as I usually do. Uh, and Anacon, yeah, you're right. Yeah, we have a correspondent over here with with Bambi. That's awesome, keeping us straight. Thanks, thank you. Um, so I went to the comic book shop in Long Beach, my local Amazing Comics. Big shout outs to them. And they had a box. And inside that box, they had all the freebies that they were going to give for the
Ooh,
upcoming free comic book
free
day.
comic
And
book day.
there are some bangers. There is number one, Johnny Quest one from the
Ooh,
new Hanna-Barbera line. I thought that that was going to be an actual like you have to buy it, but no, it's free. And I'm like, oh shoot, it looks so good. I couldn't flip through them because they're still
of course.
wrapped in plastic, and I was just like, ugh. So the other one they have, it's one that I need. I absolutely need, and I need two of them, one to frame, one to read, because it's Initial D. So it's a
Oh,
comic book about the manga Initial D,
that's
which
interesting.
is a driving one. And I saw the cover, and the cover looks so god darn awesome. And I was like, oh my god. So I'm looking forward to it. I already have a couple more, as you call them, sneaky peekies for it. There is some kaiju stuff, associated with it. There's some pony stuff too. And we'll reveal a little by little. I'll see if I can kind of talk to the owner so that we can preview them. So we can I get a preview sample, so that people can actually go into their store. Okay. So that's besides the point, guys. Again, I'm super excited for May. May's coming, and it's going to be great.
It's
But
gonna be May.
indeed, so but until then, you do have other events. For example, the good old Long Beach Flea is going to be happening this weekend, tomorrow, Sunday, to be specific. So definitely stop by. And if you remember, we did give you that recommendation that if you go there early and you stayed all the way through noon and you suddenly are craving something sweet, get the ice cream sandwiches from the guy who is dapper head to toe outside with the vintage card. They are delicious. You cannot miss. Now, I think I will be going to this one, but for the first time ever, I think I'm going to go a little bit later because we do have other things to do in the morning. But I do want to kind of go and walk around. I feel like it's going to be nice.
Yeah, and the weather's still pretty nice right now. It hasn't like it's been fluctuating between hot and cold, but it's
Mhm.
pretty fair right now.
So if you guys are going, definitely tag us in the picture, collaborate with us, tell us what you find because that's honestly the best. And let us know. Let us know because we always want to see what you guys are finding. Leave it on the comments, tag us on Instagram, etc. Now, next, if the Long Beach Antique Market it's not your cup of tea, you can just drive maybe about 20 minutes south to the Long Beach Grand Prix, or better put, the Acura 49 Grand
Ooh,
Prix, which is happening from yesterday all the way through Sunday.
tomorrow.
So it's going to be a huge show. If you guys go and take a peek and put Long Beach Grand Prix on Instagram, you will see all the shows. There's cars that jump. There are like nice races. Look at this circuit. This is like a freaking, Gran Turismo, Mario Kart style circuit.
Anna Mona Lisa.
Oh my God. Fun fact, I think Auto Mona Lisa actually had the Long Beach Grand Prix as one of its tracks.
I
Because,
believe so.
because it's that I love that freaking PS2 game. Yeah. So now tickets for this event, a little pricey because it's a whole day event. There's other things to do, and look how many people there are. Oh, are you there, Chu? Are you at the Long Beach
I'm
Grand Prix?
surrounded by it. Yeah. Street
It's.
takeovers.
I think that if you live in Van Nuys, you really don't need to go and see any races. They just happen outside your street.
Pretty much. You just peek out the balcony. I was like, oh.
Now the cards are not that nice, but yes. So tickets are between $57 and $100, depending on what type of access you want. Obviously, you can find them online. Um,
Are you
I
going?
I unfortunately I'm not, but you know what? It's one of those things that it's kind of on the bucket list now because we've lived here in California for so long now, and it's been happening all those years, and I've never been. So I think this time around, I'm gonna make it a point to go either tomorrow or next year. Right? There's
Okay.
but then I have to remind myself I have to fix my freaking laptop. All right. Yeah, but it is going to be pretty fun. So if you go there, let us again always know what you see and whether or not there were a lot of loud noises that disturbed you or nauseous smells, because that's always
Ooh.
because the idea is that if you drive by PCH at that when this is going, you can hear it from PCH, which means that those sounds are going to be very loud.
Pee Wee says, don't wait. NASCAR might buy the race. You need to go tomorrow, sir.
Oh, that is a very interesting data right there. But if they buy it, do they mean that they will just be sponsored by someone else and just happen? Or just get rid of it altogether? That's interesting.
Maybe
We
it
will
won't be
see.
called the same way, so you'll never be able to attend one
Fine, in that case, I'll go tomorrow
again.
after we do laundry. No more. But here's the deal. Today, right now,
Oh, wow.
you're gonna have the Los Angeles Festival of Books. Now here, It says April 23rd. That's nowhere near
2024. And that's not the right year. I love how Mike did terrible research.
This is
When I get a
2020.
typo, I don't hear the end of it. But look at this. We're in 2022, everybody.
Oh my
We
God.
just
I am so
we just got
sorry,
freed from
guys.
lockdown.
Okay,
So
let me tell you a story for this. Okay.
no stories, no excuses.
No. I had the right banner. I went to the website and I cropped it and I got it and I put it in, but it was yellow. And I really like the pastel background you made. So I Googled Festival of
Could
Books
crop.
logo and this came up and I'm like, oh my God, this has pastel on it. So I immediately just grabbed it and pasted it, not even knowing or reading it at all. So sorry about this, guys. Damn, that's a huge blunder.
That mistake could have been fixed by like a slight crop.
But
So
anyways, it is happening today. It's happening right now, guys. It
change the
is
slide because you're confusing the people.
there. That's me.
Oh, okay.
I'm at the Festival of Books. That was last year, 2023. Now we're 2024, and it's happening today. And I will be there once again, searching for comic books, searching for stories, also searching for possible guests.
Oh.
Because remember, last year, I found the person who
Gem and the
wrote
Holograms
and
girl,
direct
right?
exactly the Gem and the Holograms play. So I'm gonna be stickers in tow, QR code in tow, and see if anybody can, and find someone who has a kind of an interesting take or an interesting project, and we'll feature them in the pod. So where is it going to be located? This is in USC. Okay, so University of Southern California. Um, it's going to be what about 5 minutes or 10 minutes away from downtown LA, in good traffic. It is absolutely free. There are events that are paid for, but they're kind of like lectures or little symposiums that are inside the school. So you can find those informations at their website, either through the LA Library or the Los Angeles Festival of Books website, which is a very, very good one. There's a little something for everyone in that, in that, festival, because they go for comic books, coloring books, poetry, journalism. If you want to publish something, you can talk to different publishing houses there. Some of them are small, some of them are big. So there's a little something for everybody. I was actually concerned the first few times I went. I was like, I'm not going to find anything for myself. But then, boy, was I wrong. It's a really fun event, and I definitely recommend that you go if it's available. Parking is a little tricky, because it is around Los Angeles, and parking around there is not very easy. So if you can
Where
take
do you usually park? Where do you usually park? Do you have any like insight?
yeah, so I usually do street parking, but that means that I have to walk through the school for about 10 minutes to get to the actual event. You know,
So wear comfortable shoes.
wear comfortable shoes. Last year I was not wearing comfortable shoes, and I paid for it, but it was still fun. It was still fun. My wife was gonna be there. She's already in downtown LA, and I'm gonna pick her up from there. And we're gonna go walk around, maybe have some lunch, etc., around the area. So it's gonna be really fun. Yeah.
Nice.
Now, course I'm taking.
We have sad news, everybody. It finally happened. I was hoping for an additional extension, but government of Japan and
They
their
extended it 2 years.
licenses.
The extension was 2 years.
I wanted one more extension.
I know.
I was like, I almost made it, but
You
we
did.
kind of fell short. We fell short. We were not able to see it. But the giant Gundam that was in Yokohama, Japan, has been taken down. Oh, bye, Mark.
Bye, Mark. We didn't even get to
Thanks
say
for
hi to
joining
you,
us.
Mark. Next time, comment early on so that we can say hi to you.
Yes. And one of the things that I liked about those pictures of them like taking it apart was the fact that you see the exoskeleton that you kind of build when you're making the Gonfa itself. So I was like, this is really cool. I really did enjoy at least seeing it through everybody's eyes who visited. Although it would have been really cool to be able to kind of stop by and see it myself in person. But I know you have a flex coming up. Go ahead. The stage is
Flex?
yours.
Not flex. I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about a flex. You know, it's was one of those things that. So yeah, I went. I'm gonna go ahead and play the video without the
Yeah.
audio. But yeah, so I was lucky enough, fortunate enough, to actually go to the Gundam factory in Yokohama last year. It was one of the highlights for the trip for sure. And it was one of those things that I knew I wanted to go, and there was no amount of money, no amount of time or distance that was going to keep me from getting there. And luckily, it was so darn close to where we were staying. It was only about an hour train ride away.
Oh,
And
wow.
boy, that train ride was so pleasant. Guys, I know that everybody tells you Japan as a go to Tokyo, mingle in all the stores, and go to that super crowded events. But to be honest, guys, it's when you step away from that you truly think, oh my God, I can't get enough of this place. Because that train ride took us away from Tokyo going south into Yokohama, and we passed rivers, and along the riverbeds and the parks around it, there were kids playing soccer. It was just so fun. And Yokohama is a huge, huge port city, and this guy, the Gundam, is literally sitting at the bay, so it looks amazing. If you pan around, it's just the entire cityscape, and it is fun. That city is fun. One of the biggest Chinatown in Japan is in Yokohama as well. So there's
Oh,
a lot of
wow.
things to see and buy too, besides this, you know. But yeah, but this is just an amazing experience. It also came together with a museum. So it's not just this. You pay to see the museum, and the museum is like it shows you all the details for all the mechanics, the hand, the arm, the elbows, the legs, and then there's a shop, and obviously I did some shopping there. It was super fun.
And
And
we appreciate what you brought us from the shop. Thank you very much.
no problem. I have it. I have mine here too. Like I built it. It's a replica from it. It was really really cool. Um, so yeah, and I bought it knowing that obviously this guy was going to go away, which means that the product is going to be limited. You know, but
Yeah.
I can't imagine a world when they don't rebuild it again.
They have to.
Well,
They have to. They will. I'm so sure they will, because this is just like the very first one that has been this like interactive, because they have statues of some throughout the
yeah,
factories. But I really feel that they're gonna make another one. They have to. They
yeah,
really have to. Like they have to just go like the next model. Let's go. Let's go.
yeah, yeah. There's no way. This was such a moneymaker for the city that I don't see how they can just not do it again, because this where the Gundam is sitting is just a area for ships to dock, and
Hmm.
this was constantly being visited by different people, and you could buy the street passes, which is what we did, ground level. But if you pay double or triple, you can get up to the higher levels and be standing right next to its head and watch the show,
Ooh.
which is the show is actually about an hour long, about
Oh
45
wow.
minutes or so. It comes out of the platform, you know, does the hip rotation, kneels down, does a pose, stands up. And one of the things I like about this video is that if you if you look closely, this window actually opens up to reveal the character here. So
Hey, I
you
thought you were gone. I thought you were gone, Mr. Mark. This is legit cool. You're going
yes.
now. Okay, okay, okay.
So if you look right here, when I zoom in, this is blue, and then it's gonna open up to reveal the person inside. You know,
No
which is the
way.
driver. Yeah,
He's like peek at the belly. That's so
yeah.
cool.
So you can actually see the quote unquote driver, right? Which is it's super nice. I'm not sure if it's a real person, if it's a mannequin. I suspect it's just a mannequin. But as you guys are like watching this, there's an actual dialogue going between the pilot tower control and other people. So it's like an entire immersive experience. Pretty nice, you know.
So cool.
So sucks that you won't be able to see it, but I'm pretty sure you'll get to see the next one they make because it's just there's no way, there's no way they're not gonna, do this again at a bigger and better scale.
Let's see. We're waiting for the slide to come back up because we
Yeah.
do have a lot more news to cover. And we're also going to be talking about X-Men as we move forward because I hope you guys did your homework and watched it alongside me because I did watch it. And we'll
Yeah.
be talking about that soon. We're just waiting on Max's janky laptop to do its thing.
I'm sharing. I'm sharing. You use the press. There we go. And I suspect that the reason why they had to, dismantle it is because it is essentially being sitting next to the beach, which means that there's probably a lot of rust and a lot of, weathering because of the salt water and it's in the area and the wind. And it's pretty tall. So as a way to prevent it from getting destroyed, it probably needed to be dismantled, cleaned up, refurbished, all the little bits and pieces, and then put back together somewhere else.
I'm pretty sure for like a while before they find a location for it, they're gonna have like a museum where they have just like the head, or like
We already have a museum for that, and you can actually step in it. It's pretty nice.
into the head. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. Now, let's go ahead and move past Yokohama because if you're going to Japan, and Yokohama unfortunately does not have the sad, now lonely and gone Gundam, you can actually cut your trip half by about 30 minutes and go to Satagaya City to Toho Studios, which is literally right there. So it's just another even shorter train away from Tokyo. Toho Studios, again, it's a beautiful, beautiful building. There's a lot of like almost ginormous pictures like these. There are statues for Godzilla pretty much everywhere. And it is also a very quiet, not so visited city that you can actually enjoy Japan at a slower pace. And there's a lot of plum and sakura blossoms in the area. You can see them right here peeking. So it's actually a pretty nice little place. And one of the places that I'll be going this year when I return to Japan. I'm going to go to Satagaya. I'm going to see what's going on there. So, Person P, where are you going to Toho Studios or not?
I don't think this trip we're gonna go to the zipline, to the Godzilla zipline. So that's the main emphasis.
You keep saying, you're going to go to the Godzilla zipline. The Godzilla zipline is going to be one day.
I don't care.
Or you're
That's
going
my focus. That's my focus.
What happens
I don't
to
care
Godzilla
wherever.
zipline?
I don't care what happens before, after.
I see,
My
got
goal
it.
is Godzilla zipline. I have one goal. I am focused. I'm sorry. I'm not. I'll
Okay.
come back with pictures and I'll tell you where I went. But right now, I don't know where I'm going. I'm
Okay.
just going into
Now,
Godzilla's mouth.
we'll-
I'm going into Godzilla's mouth.
We'll talk about this closer to our trip dates, right?
Yes.
But we need to get you geared up.
What?
Meaning, we need to get you a GoPro for your cabeza, a GoPro for your pecho, so you can actually document this and bring it and show us. Because
Yeah,
I'm
no,
not
I've
going.
been thinking about it. That's my main emphasis because I'm like, I need to make sure I do record it because I do want to record the way in. But I know there are some policies against cameras in some parts, mainly in the museum. But I think this should be okay. But I will be getting a. I think I'll do like the. Not sure if I'll be able to do the harness one GoPro. Might have to do the head one because it depends on the harness that you have to wear for taking the zip line.
Or you can actually once you have the harness in, you can have a modular version. You could just clip onto the harness, right? Which is what a brother in Japan does on its different things. So we'll definitely talk because I do have a GoPro that I really don't use. So yeah, I really don't use it anymore, and Ray does too. And so we'll go ahead and talk it because I again, going to the zip line, the Godzilla zip line, going through its mouth is not a big priority for me, but it is for you. So I want to
Yes.
know through you how it looks like going in. It's gonna be fun.
Okay. I'm down because that's all I want to do.
Clearly,
That's
okay,
all
I'm
I
done.
want to do. I'm done. Bye bye. Go home now.
Now, like I said, this is going to be a very much a Japan centric segment of the show because there's a lot of things happening in Japan right now. So tell us, what is this, Chu?
Me? Well, they have finally created a cat bus as a tiny little shuttle. So we have Toyota to thank for this, for making everybody's dreams a reality. We actually have a non-furry that cat bus that will last for longer than others that have been created that are actually
Mhm.
like textured with fur. So if you
Yeah.
have like a thing against its dirty fur from the one that they have in the museum, you can go ahead and ride this one around
Yeah.
instead.
So earlier this week, it was shown again because technically this I found out it was pretty old news. You know,
Ooh.
like this has been in development for a long, long time. Maybe about earlier. Oh, Portion of Pig in the Grand Prix again. So yeah, so this has been going on since 2002. No, 2022, and
Oh, just like the book fair.
just like the book fair, correct? And
Tie in, right?
it was supposed to be implemented by the end of 2023, but it's not going to
Mhm.
be implemented until now. So it was a little bit
Oh,
delayed,
yeah.
which is why they're kind of shining a light on it. Now, it's for the better because this is essentially a skin for a shuttle that already exists. Okay. And it's this one. Okay. So the shuttle already exists. Toyota made them. And the brilliant part is that they're not going to be all around the city. Okay. They're not
Mhm.
going to be like, oh, yeah, I could just hail one of those at any time. They're supposed to be shuttles for the Miyazaki Park,
Mhm.
for the Studio Ghibli Park, which actually happens to be the same site as what we call, it happens in Nagoya, and it's in the same site that was a World Expo, the 2005 World Expo. And after the 2005 Expo, this huge area became a park. And little by little is being transformed into this Studio Ghibli area. Like this, where you have this actual, house moving castle. This is a render, but you do have other, things that are slowly popping up. But the problem is that the park is huge. Like attractions are very far from each other now, so people have to walk a lot. So shuttle, meet,
Fixes that problem. Yes.
branding, and this looks super cool.
I love
So
his little paws in the back.
I know it is so
Yeah.
cool.
Like he is running, he's dashing you there. I love the fact that they were like, okay, he has to be in mid run.
Mhm.
I love
And the
that. They're,
the attention to detail, having the little mice,
of
as little
course.
lights in the front and the back, and having the extra legs is so cool.
I'm like, if you're going to do it right. And
Yes,
this is done right.
yeah, and I'm very happy to see it. If you notice that, like you mentioned, that there's no fur, not technically true because the seats are very much furry. You see it?
Yeah, I see the plush covering in it. But it's different than the one you see inside of the museum, that you can see that it's been touched so much that the fur has been discolored
Oh yeah, yeah.
and it just looks dirty.
I see. Yeah, but this looks new and state of the art, so I really like them. The only other thing they could have done better would be to put them on a rail or something, so they look like they're actually hovering as opposed to just having wheels. But
Oh, I
this is
think
it.
this is okay. I
Yeah.
think this is fine. Like if they're gonna do a rail, they should do the Spirit Away rail that takes you through the water.
Oh my god, dude! They can make the Haku dragon go in the two. Oh my god! Now, the little that train that goes through the water, you can actually go there because it's a place.
Mhm.
It's Ehime in Japan.
Mm.
So you can actually travel to this place, and we're going this year uh, because it has that famous train station where it's literally kind of like next to the ocean. In the movie, they dramatize it to go through the ocean. It just goes right next to it, but it's just totally beautiful. But that place exists, Ehime, and you can definitely go and check it out. Take a trip and go today. Now,
Nice.
where is this? This is in Nagoya. Nagoya City is famous for its tiger fish, the Ochinoko, which typically adorn homes, and famously in the Nagoya Castle, they're way above and they're huge and golden. And they did this because they believe that if the building caught fire, which is mainly wood, these guys would summon rain to put out the fire, or just quite literally vomit water. They're very good at swallowing water, apparently. So like they will go like, "Bleh," and then the fire will be extinguished.
Nice.
Nagoya is a really cool city, and I did have the chance to visit it. The castle is amazing. The city is vibrant. Pokemon Center there is top notch. So we're giving you many tips. Okay, if you're and it's on the way down to Osaka, so you can technically go Tokyo, Toho Studios, um, Gundam, well, Yokohama, the Chinese one, and now you can go here and then Osaka. There's a lot of things to do. Okay,
And Nagoya also has a really cool flea market.
really?
Mm-hmm.
Mm. We should definitely talk about that in the future, but I don't think it coincides with the time we're visiting, right?
We'll have to look up. I know last time that you went, it was happening, but it was out of your way.
Yeah, and Nagoya is one of. I remember when we were in Kyoto towards the last day of our trip, we went to this one restaurant where they asked us, like, "Hey, where have you been?" The guy was. We were the only persons in the restaurant, and he was essentially cooking for us, just for us. And he started asking us, like, "Hey, where have you been?" Blah blah blah. And then we mentioned every place we were, and when we said Nagoya, he was like, "Really, Nagoya?" Because Nagoya is a city that tourists don't go to, and that's where its charm lies. You know, very few tourists, very few tourists. So it is such a great place to visit. Now, moving along, breathe.
So here is our spoiler alert, everybody. We are gonna be showing images of spoilers, and there is a trigger warning. If Jean Grey triggers you, we are going to be showing images of Jean Grey, and there will also be some blood and violence. But I know one of the biggest trigger warnings here is Jean Grey, because she just loves to, gaslight everybody.
Absolutely. And if again, this is where you part, this is where you go and see, like, I'm gonna come back later. Definitely sticking around as long as you did. And we remind you to please help us get rid of the StreamYard duck and subscribe and share this with somebody. Give it a like, because we're trying to make the show grow. But that said,
We're going to start.
trigger
And we're
warning.
going to be reviewing the episode from last week and this week as well, because I was behind by one episode last week, but now we're all caught up. And I'm going to catch you guys up if you're not up to date. So we're going to be seeing lots of images. I literally went through it and got a couple of screenshots the old-fashioned way.
Wah, wah. Now,
because it's protected by Disney Plus.
when you say the last episode, you mean the one that was released this week, right?
Yes.
Okay, because yeah, good. I watched it yesterday.
Yes, I watched it yesterday as well. So with this episode, we begin with the team that is Magneto, Rogue, and Gambit, because Gambit was not going to stay behind when Rogue was going to take a trip with Creepy Face Man. And so,
Creepy Face Man? You mean Alpha Man?
ugh, no. What does he call himself? I hate when he calls himself. That's so gross. The something of magnetism.
Master of Magnetism?
Yeah, the master of magnetism. Like, shut
Yeah, he is.
But I don't know. I just can't stand him in this series.
He's the geriatric heartthrob, okay?
Well, as soon as they arrive to Genosha, we find out that guess who's there? A clone Jean.
And we know that her name is Madeline, but we're just going to call her Clone Jean because she literally picked that name day of. So She's cloned.
Yes. She's clone Jean. And clone Jean, like she's just sprouted from a gene and now she can be part of the government of Genosha. She has been handpicked after, jumping in a bus with just a tiny backpack. She was handpicked out of that bus and taken to Genosha. And it's like, hey,
Yeah,
you help run government now.
Yeah, don't you love it when you quit your day job and then somebody tells you, hey, by the way, do you want a seat in the nation's government? Everything paid for, that's fine. What? You haven't been to school? You don't know anything about how to rule a country? It doesn't matter. You'll learn on the job, okay?
I was like, but let me know. Who were you cloned from? Oh, Jean? Of course here's a seat. You want to be president?
Do you want to be president? Absolutely. So, and if you're a Jean fan, I'm so sorry.
Because we're not.
So sorry. I am not. I love Scott. I love Cyclops. The worst thing that could ever happen to Cyclops is Jean.
Oh. We are going to be shooting a lot of shots today. Shots fired. So we do, so as soon as I get there, Magneto is pretty much being told, oh, you're going to go discuss politics with like the group of politicians that we have. There's literally a group of like 6 people. And then that run Genosha.
2 of them are evil.
Half of them are evil. And Rogue is like, oh, so what's up with us? What's going to happen to us? Well, Nightcrawler pops into a picture and we got this super cute snapshot of all of them just hanging out. And he's like, I'll be your tour guide. And they hang out and we enjoy a nice little compilation of them walking around as a cute little group of friends.
Now,
then what's happening back at the manor?
Because you know what? As we know, the pace for this damn show is fast as heck. So yeah, we get this. Oh, look at Genosha. Look at the nation. Look at people dancing. Look at this mutants that have no business dancing, like multiple men. But he's dancing here for the show. It literally turned into a freaking Broadway musical type of deal. And I was just like,
and one of the things that I was like, okay, you're trying to show me there's a lot of mutants, but you keep showing me the same like 4 mutants.
I know there are a lot of cameos, and but yeah, it's just kind of like, are these people just following you around? It literally felt like a play,
It did.
Like the same characters just in different places doing different things.
Exactly. So I'm like, you're going into a city. Nobody's just gonna be doing that. Not normal people, unless they're all TikTokers, and they're all doing like a bit.
Yeah, you're right. But the other thing was that, like, okay, yeah, we get the exposition, but I felt like this time could have been better spent building the character of Rogue, building the character of Nightcrawler and Gambit and their relationship. They throw you a little bit and saying like that Gambit is heartbroken and concerned and very worried and kind of mad at her, but Nightcrawler picks up on it. But then after that, nothing happens. Like Rogue just buys a weird looking apple and that's it.
Yeah, pretty much. And they pay a lot for it too. It was a very expensive apple.
I know. And then back home, Jean is like, oh yeah, I love Scott, but also I'm going to kiss you right now.
Yeah, so pretty much Jean is like, she goes to like the lake because she's so goddamn dramatic. She goes to the lake and makes like a space for herself where she puts her memories in like orbs of water and she's reflecting on them. She's like, are these my memories or clone Jean's memories? And then, Logan, because he's always chasing after her, he comes by. And then she pretty much just explains, like, out of all these memories, all I know is that I love Scott. I love Scott the most. Scott is like the bee's knees. And all of a sudden, Logan tells her, oh, I've never seen anything cuter than you, Red. And she just smooches him. And that's it. I'm like, you just told us, like, you just went into this whole narration while reflecting into your memory orbs of how much you love Scott and how he's the one that kept you, that he's your anchor. You renounced the universe when it called to you as the Phoenix just because you saw Scott's eyes. And now you're just making out with Logan because
dude, like they just broke everything you said. Like it shattered all sense of your conviction for Scott and the sacrifice because you're just willing to try something new. I'm like, okay. Like, look, I to this day I have trouble. It's just there's a visceral reaction inside of me that it just squirms every time I see Jean and Logan together. I cannot for the life of me. Jeez, it's been 30 plus years or so, and I still have the same like no, like. And I love that Logan says like no, like the story is supposed to be you and Scott, not me. You know, kind of making reference to that or how weird it is, how forced really it is, because there's never been a buildup, you know, between Logan and Jean right now. Like
Mhm.
in the current, you know, comic book,
Yeah.
they've done it. If you know
Oh.
what I mean,
Hmm.
it's already happened. So it's just kind of like okay, but it never feels like it's a story on its own. It's just like oh, it. By the way, this happens. They just throw it in there. Like yeah, I'm like okay. I guess us, the audience, would just have to kind of accept it, and then also accept the fact that it doesn't really change anything in the story. It's not significant in any way, shape, or form. It's weird. So no,
It's just more character building for Jean. Just you're like, we don't like her, and this just adds more layers to it.
yeah, like because Jean can have anybody. That's the thing. That the rule is Jean is sacred in Marvel, right? Like she can do no wrong. She could be a phoenix, devour worlds, kill people, and do everything, and
But she will always be forgiven,
she will
and she'll
always.
always be put in a pedestal.
Yep. No, that she can do no wrong. She will always be amazing, great.
And what's happening to poor Scott while she's making out with Logan in the water? Well,
Because they
he's
are in
being
the same place.
interviewed.
They're in the same house.
Like they're literally just like she could be reading his thoughts as he's going through all this stress in the interview.
Yeah, it's true. That's a great point, by the way. And Scott makes like the best scene of the entire show, and I know that there's a very cool scene, but this is by far the most significant, right? Because this is the one where he essentially tells him, "Dude, humans suck.
Hmm.
Like we help you out, and we're here answering questions about what makes me human. Like what the hell? Screw you guys." You
Yeah,
know,
so
and
he
now
literally just like speaks his mind, storms off stage.
yeah. And once again, showing that Scott is cool and that the writers and showrunners have a different view of what Scott should be. Like Scott was always kind of held back by Jean because it depended on her for the story. Now he's actually a lot more interesting, which is it has hints of what we saw after, you know, when he kind of goes rogue on his own and
Hmm.
he creates his own like school later on. And I love that comic book run. It didn't last long enough. But then
We get
Logan
this
says no to
scene.
her, by
Yeah.
the way. Logan says, like, you're weird. And even though I want you and I like you, I acknowledge that is what you're doing is weird.
Yeah, he's like, "You're too much, lady. Goodbye." So he's like, no, no, no. I'll stick around for the smooch, maybe the one night stands, but I am not gonna be in a relationship with you. So go chase after Scott again." And
Mhm.
Scott, you get this scene of Scott. You know, he has stormed out of the interview. He goes into his room, and he's just sad and mopey and feeling like, you know, he's like, "Man, we give up so much for these humans, and they still treat us so poorly." And then you see that Jean
Mhm.
comes in to comfort him, as you know, you look for a partner that can comfort you when you're in distress. And then he begins to mourn his son, and she asks him for a description. They bond and they kiss, and all of a sudden, boom, we realize that it's all in his mind, and she's actually talking to clone Jean and
Yeah.
making out with clone Jean, because I'm like, that's his baby's mama. He's gonna have a deeper connection with her than you, regular Jean. Don't let yourself be cloned if you don't want him to be making out with your clone.
And not only that, like she just kind of barges in to the point that you know, and the imagery here is like she's so mad it makes them look small. I'm like,
Hmm.
dude, this is not your brain, this is not your mind, but okay, I guess you can just waltz in here anytime I want. And look, I know comic book wise, they have a psychic connection, a rapport, as it is called in the comic books. And it's very useful in missions because they're always cyclically linked. It's great.
Hmm.
But it also poses a lot of issues in terms of privacy.
Privacy.
Yes. Now that's that, and literally that's the last thing we get from it. Right? And you're like, okay, they're having troubles, marital problems, and we also had a hint of that in the Mojo episode because they say Scott and Jean, and they put them in the divorce court type of
Mhm. That's
show,
true.
right?
They
So
did give a little bit of foreshadowing
mhm,
to all the issues that they were having.
yeah, so it's well foretold what's going to happen. But what's happening here now that we are in the government? This is the government, by the way.
And literally, guys, the way I just shifted you into this place, this is the pacing of the story. I'm
Yeah,
literally just paralleling it. So you guys
yeah,
can
it
feel
literally
the
goes like
same.
this. Boom,
Yeah,
boom, boom.
that's exactly, yep, that's exactly how it goes. I'm literally keeping it pace by pace. And so the reason we teleport here is because what's her face? Clone Jean gets snapped out of her little romance thing. Because guess what? She was in a meeting. She was in a work meeting and actually making out with her man. And she was,
Don't we always want to do that though? Like psychically just be away mentally somewhere else when we're working. She does a great job running an
doing
entire
that.
freaking government.
And like, and that's why, like, look at all the people that are placed in this board. I don't think any of them should be making decisions for a group of mutants.
Yeah, like one of them literally lives in the sewers.
Exactly. And her people are like still like the furthest away.
Yeah,
So
they're the
like,
ones. They're the ones experiencing like the most segregation, but she's there. You know,
yeah, she's like,
Callisto's there.
yeah. So they are speaking about how like they want Magneto to become the leader of Genosha. And they even mentioned that like we want you to be like the chancellor. But he's like, I'm gonna be king. I'm gonna be king and I need a queen.
Chancellor, Queen, King. I heard King.
He's like, monarchy, yes.
What the hell? Where? Like that's a huge leap.
Yeah, because they're like, oh, we were thinking about the term chancellor king. I'm king. I need my queen. I'm gonna go convince my queen, and he goes to convince Rogue, and asks her, "Would you be my queen?" And Rogue, because you know she's not very brainy, she's not very smart. She's like, okay.
Now, what happens afterward is heartbreaking because Remy, you show that Remy is a stand-up guy, you know. Remy is like, hey, you know, like it's okay if I want to be with you. He pours his feelings out.
It really does, because one of the things that I hadn't noticed the first time, but I noticed the second time watching it because I came back for the snapshots. He says, like, you know, his first rebuttal to the situation is, you never wanted to make us official.
Oh,
That's what he says. Like, you didn't want to make us official, and now it's okay with that.
uh-huh.
And she's just like, oh, you know, no, but this is different. I wanted to do something better as an X-Men, and this is my opportunity to do that. I was like, what do you mean? Like, you're literally being swayed into just being somebody's date when you could have told him, it's like, I do want to be part of running this government, but not as your queen. I can be part of the whatever that mixed up group of little people is.
Yeah, look at the comment too. Yeah.
Let's see. Never seen the show, but the way you guys describe it, it makes me seem like it is a novella. It is a novella.
Right. Basically, it's a soap opera with superpowers. That's all it is. At this point in time, there's like there's two. We're dealing with two triangles. One of them potentially a square, because
Yeah.
there's Queens, Cyclops, and Wolverine. That's basically a love square.
It's a parallelogram because the amount of love is not equal, so it's slightly slanted.
Yeah, and we actually talked off pod this week with Ports of Piggy, where like the problem with Jean and Scott and Logan, that triangle is so inconclusive that legitimately the writers wrote, fine, there's two Jeans now. Everybody can have their own Jean, but that never even happened. So like,
Nope.
Back to square one. It's dumb. But anyway.
Yeah. And here, like in this scene, like it gets okay. What hurts me the most is like before this conversation happens, you get like a scene of Remy getting dressed and looking all dapper and checking himself out. It's like he's, you know, he wants to look good to impress Rogue and just to look good overall. Now he's really happy. He's really excited for this opportunity to have like a gala event rather than just going to fight. And then
Uh-huh.
this girl comes and she breaks down the news. He does tells her, it's like, I my odds are this that he's gonna break your heart in two. And she agrees. She's like, your odds are always right. And he respects her decision. He's like, I respect the fact that you didn't want us to be official. And I respect this decision. You could see that he's upset by the when she's mentioning everything because he's literally just throwing his cards on the fire.
Oh no, he's throwing the Queen of Hearts.
The Queen of Hearts in the fire. But he's slowly throwing all of them, but then emphasize on the Queen of Hearts.
Indeed.
And like he respects her decision and he does and he does attend the gala dateless.
And no,
And
and he has to like withstand seeing them like the most outward, most forward display of love ever. This old man was like literally talking business, blah 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 blah, talking ruling, blah 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 blah. Caesar coming down, literally flying down, and he's like, "Screw this!
drop everything.
I am getting myself some," and he does.
In a way, like, okay, so this is one of the things I had to explain to my spouse when we were watching it. I was like, that touch of hands, that's the most amount of intimacy, that's like intimacy for them.
Yeah.
And although they do get intimate, but this is something like when Remy sees it, he's like, that's one thing that he cannot give her. He cannot give her that touch that she so much craves. And that's so hurtful to me. It really made me feel like I was watching the scene of Steven Universe where what's her face? They do the fusion in front of Steven's dad.
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh, Pearl
Yeah.
and Rose Quartz do a fusion in front of.
Oh
of
yes, and because that is like the
intimacy.
most intimate. Yeah, it's true. Oh yeah,
So,
dude, you're right.
so that's what this gave me vibes of because I was like, Remy, no, you're watching something that you don't want to see and that you're not able to give her because you respect her boundaries and her wishes because she could have easily gone to, get her powers removed so they could be together, but he's not pushing her on that end or anything. He's just happy with the way the relationship was. And they literally do like a whole dance and they're all touchy and whatever. And then she realizes she's like, Remy was right.
After they kiss, though.
They do kiss, which is
in
like
front of him.
Gag.
He stays for that.
Which is like a gag reflex, and because he's I'm sorry, like evil face. I can't with evil face. And so
And he's
so
like 30 years older than her or something like that.
It's just his face is so evil. Like I've seen him in Evolution and he looks better. Like just redesign his face. But yeah, so they kiss and that's when she realizes she's like, Remy's right. Some things are deeper than skin or like, yeah, deeper than skin. And so she kind of makes her decision. She's like, I'm not gonna stick around with you. This is not it.
But by that point, he had already walked out. So he never
didn't
got
see that decision.
So he's still heartbroken at the moment. He doesn't know. And thank God Cable arrived, because otherwise I guarantee you Clone Jean was going to make her move on Remy.
Yes, I saw that because she was like, but then like psychic connection hurt her. She started to like nosebleed. I don't know if that nosebleed was because of psychic connection or because she saw Remy, because I get it.
And then all hell breaks loose after Cable shows up because you guys know there's 3 rules to X-Men. Number 1, no one can be happy. Number 2, Jean will always be right. And number 3, time travel fixes everything. So rule number 1, nobody can be happy. Everybody seems to be okay right now. They're in a gala, having fun in their own
Everybody's
country.
sad.
But that doesn't really last because there's a giant sentinel that literally starts unaliving everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And it's rather catastrophic. It's one of those, what you're going to see may disturb you. The footage you're about to see, it's blah, blah, blah type of deal. It's an
because
entire...
they actually use that kind of language as well in the show as they're recording it.
Correct. And throughout everything, right? Like you have this giant battle, and everybody's kind of running for survival and not surviving at the same time.
Yeah.
Very few that actually make it. One of them is Rogue. Rogue is protected by Magneto. Magneto sacrifices himself to protect some kids and fails, unfortunately. But at the
Yeah.
same time, he also holds back Rogue, who wanted to save him, but he knew it was gone. And the other person who survives is Remy, right?
Yeah, right. So Magneto does sacrifice himself, and his sacrifice is completely in vain because guess what? The Sentinel is still destroying everybody.
Mhm.
And Rogue got extremely mad, and she was like, "I'm gonna take down this Sentinel because she killed Old Face Man." And so she begins to fly towards him, but Remy uses his motorcycle to knock her out of the sky, and then he goes headfirst against the Sentinel,
Yep. And
and it's
unfortunately,
very epic.
the Sentinel gets the better of him. But
As you
as you
can
guys
see,
know,
he got a little kebabbed on the side.
indeed, so he's not gonna make it, guys. But he's not gonna go down by himself. He's going to charge kinetic energy into the ginormous Sentinel and blow it to bits. And
And
he
save
does.
everybody.
He saves everybody. He is the savior of those who survive, who are very few again. Um, but then we end with the best sample of voice acting that this actress has ever done. It was so moving, and the word choice was
Yeah.
so great. The "I can't feel you," having her finally embrace, touch him, you know, but to no avail, was so moving, you know, because that's the closest that she's ever held him.
Yes. And then as soon as like the screen goes black, you hear a little bit of her sobs. I was like, oh, stop it.
Yeah,
You
no, it was
yourself woman.
uh it was definitely an amazing craft moment. Like it was one of the few instances with the show slow down and let you savor the moment. I'm like, thank you.
I'm
That
like,
that
finally.
that fade to black, and we're still in the same scene, but you just can't see it.
Hmm.
Oh my god, that made all the
It
difference.
allowed you to feel. It finally
Yeah,
allowed you to feel because it feels like this show is always keeping you on the rush because like there's so many emotions happening in the characters, but as an aspect spectator, they're
Mhm.
not allowing you to feel it.
Yeah,
They just want to rush you through the storyline. So that's one of the main issues with the show at the moment. That's like you want to make stronger connections with the characters, but you're just not given the chance to do so.
man, I didn't see that Remy kind of lost a lot of hair there. That's
I
wild.
know.
Yeah,
Just exploded from that side.
that's crazy.
Okay, go next.
All right.
And yes, we got lots of emotional damage,
I
everybody.
didn't see this. It's hilarious. But yes, it was emotional damage for sure. The inner child in me was traumatized.
And then, okay,
I
then we
forgot
go
about this episode.
exactly. All of a sudden, it's just like when we saw the whole clone gene arc. They go ahead and jump you into a completely different episode the next time you come
It,
about.
it is
Uh,
related because Professor
towards the
Charles
end.
Xavier, it's off world, right? But somehow he needs to find out what's happening on Earth for him to come back down. So, like, I
Yeah,
get
but they have to cram what in the world happened to him because according to us, we watched the kids. He was supposedly taken down by a terrorist organization or something.
no, he was like the thing is he was going to die, and the only way he could survive was if Magnus gave him a magnetic CPR type of deal, and he did, and then he was still gonna die because he had a virus or something, and the only people who can, you know, bring him back to life was the Shi'ar with alien technology. So they took him. So all the X-Men know that he's alive.
Well,
You know,
I didn't know this. I didn't know it's coming
yeah,
to
yeah,
97. Yeah. So
yeah.
for
So
me,
like
I'm first hand, just
first
following
time
whatever's
seeing, I get
popping
you, I
out.
get you.
Yeah, first time seeing. So for me, it was like I don't know who these people are. but I'm vibing with the vibes of this guy. I have an arrow to him because he's serving faces the entire the entire show,
Entire
and I'm with
time.
him.
Yes. So this episode was very much about, how empires are unethical, right? How empires are their greatness is built on the backs of, smaller countries who get conquered, right? And you see that for as regal as they are, they have slaves or they have like labor, forced labor there, you know, and they feel like, oh yeah, we're super inclusive, but not really, right? And Charles obviously is the one who's being very intimate with Lilandra. Lilandra is the ruler of this race of people who actually evolved from birds. These things are feathers, by the way.
Yeah, I kind of caught that when they're like, "Oh, she was just a hatchling." I'm like, "Oh, so they're like owl people."
They're like owl people, correct?
He's my favorite. I'm sorry. He's serving looks, and he is honestly the mood for every time they bring Xavier into the scene for me.
Hell to the yes! I freaking love this. Oh yeah, and I
And
forgot that this is also happening, which was
exactly, because like
more
so many
interesting.
storylines are happening at the same time. We're coming back to Ororo's love story and slash like complicated love story because she has found out that Forge, right?
Hmm.
Is the one who created the weapon that took her powers away. And now they're both being haunted by this one like canyon demon that's like owl shaped as well and has bitten Forge and he's spreading him with some like magical poison. And she needs to help rescue him and kind of like save his life.
Because they love each other.
Hmm?
Because they love each other.
Because I love each
So in
other.
this episode, you have guys try to keep track. You have in this show you have a love square, love triangle, and a diagonal, just back and forth, just two people, but just having trouble, connecting. So that's Forge and Storm. Okay. The problem here is that Storm has issues with him, but in reality, there are issues with herself. So
Mhm.
she needs to kind of work on herself so she can love him and show him the forgiveness that he needs in order
By
for
forgiving herself.
it's a lot. It's like that type of deal.
Honestly, it's all the work that we gotta do on ourselves. It's therapy. We're
Yeah,
pretty much sitting in therapy with Storm, and I really enjoyed this side of the story.
yeah.
The Storm story, it's totally worth watching and paying attention to. As you will see as we move forward, I did not pay much attention to what the heck was happening with Xavier. There was a lot of talking and a lot of ignoring on my part.
You were like, mm.
I was like, I see your mouth moving, but I'm not listening.
And long story short, she overcomes her demons, right? And she's claustrophobic, so she has this really good scene in a very tight spot in a cave. And to my surprise, they gave her the old costume, like her demon. She made peace with her demon. Her demon became part of her and gave her this new black outfit. And I was just like, oh, that was so good. Like I
This
didn't
is
see it
like one
coming.
of the best scenes of the show so far of her transformation, her regaining her powers. It was amazing. And they gave us this cute little, I had to make that little snip shot of her with the cute little feet as she shows like her entire cute fit. I just loved it. Um, this is one of my favorite scenes so far.
Yeah, no, this it was very cinematic. It was very joyful,
Mhm.
and it was a very good contrast to what we got earlier in the show. I think it's episode 1 or 2, where she loses her powers and she
Yeah.
cries about it. And she's just kind of curled in a ball, just crying because she doesn't have her powers. She can't feel the wind. And for the second time, we see there's a pattern in this show, which is loss is depicted as the inability to feel, right? Storm says, I can't feel the wind. Rogue
Mhm.
says, I can't feel you, Remy, right? So there's a very strong emphasis on feel, right? On that sensation that it's real, that it's happening. Madeline has the memories, right? But it's unsure of whether she can feel based on them. Same thing happens to Jean, right? Jean is unaware of her feelings. So that's this trend that we see across the characters, right? And we'll see how it develops. But for the most part, the journey that Storm has
Chef's kiss.
is so good. It's
But
so
one of the thing is that once she's able to overcome her personal issues, they kind of speed up her story. And they're
Mhm.
like, okay, Forge is healed. You guys are back home. He turns on the news. You see Genosha went bad, and now you're sad. I'm like,
Yeah.
let
And,
me be happy for a second.
hey, what's rule number one about X-Men?
No one can be happy.
No one can be happy. No one can be happy. As soon as you have a little bit of happiness, it's swept right under the rug. It's not allowed. Like she was literally calling him my love.
And they were about to go to like some like beach getaway or something.
Yeah, they were about to have a trip, like a regular happy couple who overcame like marital problems, right? They were like, oh yeah, let's have fun here. No, because a lot of X-Men population went from being big to being small. So
Mhm.
now she's gonna have to spring into action, you know?
Which way though? She can make more population. Forge
Oh,
is right there.
and then and then Charles is we have to acknowledge that they call Charles that Deathbird, which is the
Sister.
sister, the evil space sister of the ruler of that, looking like Starfire and Blackfire, if you ask me. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Uh, and the and just black. Deathbird is also pink and black, like Blackfire is pink and black.
Mhm.
Just saying, just saying,
Putting that out there.
putting that out there. So yeah, so Deathbird calls Charles a person from the ghetto, right?
Yeah, he's a Terra people, and the Terra people are like come from monkeys. They don't come from owls, so we don't want to mix with their kind or anything like that. Because the thing is that his sister made an announcement in the middle of war, and she was like, "Oh, we're gonna get married because I'm in love with him." And they're about to they pretty much are announcing that they're getting married. So so her evil space sister comes over and says, no, I'm gonna go ahead because you're not listening. I'm gonna go ahead and do some kind of like um Shang Yu to you and your
Oh, yeah, Shaggy Boo there. Yeah, I love that reference.
to to your Xavier, and he needs to give up all of his like memories from Earth if he wants to be the ruler of our planet or to rule alongside you. And he's torn about it, but then he tells, what's the name of the good ruler? Sorry, I was not paying attention on this part.
Lilandra.
Lilandra. I like her name. And Lilandra is like, oh, um, like why don't you give up the memory of everybody? Like he's willing to give up the memory of Earth, but not of the X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things that he has a hard time letting go. But then he does agree with her at the end. And he's like, it's time for me to show my devotion to you as you have been showing it to me. And when it comes to the time for him to actually show it, he's like, nah, I don't want to give up the X-Men. And he just goes and uses his psychic power to put everybody in a classroom. And again, serving faces, serving looks. Our general owl over there is in a mood because he's like, what is this nonsense?
Is that like
He's like, I don't want to be here.
I don't want to be here. Why you're teaching me about racism in space? Like, nah, you know. And it is an interesting kind of like, yeah, okay, Charles, we get it. You're very smart and you're cool about it. And there's definitely a message in here, like, oh, okay. And I get it. I get it. This is an empire, right? It's ruled by a king and queen, not really like a democracy type of deal. And you see the arrogance that the Shi'ar have because they are having war, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to get married. I don't care. Everything's so nice. But meanwhile, people are dying, dude. Like, it's crazy. She's not a very focused or
No, she
empathetic
she
ruler.
seems like she is in La La Land. Like her She's only self-centered.
Yeah, she's like, "Oh, yes, we have war, but we're here. We're fine. It's
Yeah,
okay. We'll
everything's peachy.
yeah." And by the way, Charles can walk because this is in the mind, but in the real, in the real world, he can walk because he has like robotic legs.
Yes.
Now, is it?
Ah, come on, go back.
Oh wait, you haven't seen. This man needs to be in a shirt. It's so dope. He
He's my
looks so cool
favorite.
with the glasses too.
Right? That's what it's like. He's perfect.
I know.
Oh yeah, and while Xavier is doing all this mind stuff because he's finally activated his psychic powers, he kind of gets the remnants. Oh, stop honking. Finally gets the remnants of what has happened on Earth and
Mhm.
all the loss that has occurred among his X-Men and the mutant
Yes.
population.
Actually, yeah, that's a good point because he hadn't really used his psychic
Hmm.
power. It's true. His telepathic power. And now he does, and now he sees that Gambit is pretty much, you know, unalive, no longer with us. It's a skeleton. And towards the end, you see that everybody was fooled by Sinister. Sinister is the person behind this entire, you know, mass unaliving that just happened. And he has a problem. And
It's a
the problem
problem.
is that in the previous episode, when Scott and Clone Gene went to face him, he just went like,
Yeah, he just peaced out. He's like, bye guys. But now he's back, and he's the one who activated Master Mold. So that's how we kind of learned that Master Mold is the one that went to do all the unaliving at Genosha. And now we don't know what Sinister is up to. We just know like he loves messing with the X-Men.
He loves messing with the X-Men, and ultimately he loves messing with Jean and Cyclops. He thinks that Cyclops. Okay, because all right, here's the deal. Nathaniel Essex, which is his real name, wasn't really a mutant. He made himself a mutant back in the day.
Oh.
So he activated an X gene or something. He became a mutant, because of his science, because he knows that mutants are the next step in evolution. So he's obsessed in forwarding the evolution of the human race because he says like, oh, Homo sapiens, they're old news, they're extinct now.
Our
So
people's what's up?
he's like, oh, who has the best genes for the next generation? Gene and Scott, baby. So that's why.
Oh,
That's why he made a clone of Gene, and this clone Gene had a baby with Scott because he's really interested in that good old Scott gene. He knows it. Yes, and now he's like, oh, I got the baby now. Who has Scott genes now. This is the best baby ever. And then I'm gonna put him in a tank and infect him with the virus, and then they steal
because
it.
he was supposed to overpower the virus. He was going to be there so he could have that immunity to the virus, so he would be now extra powerful.
Yeah. My wife really loves Mr. Sinister. It's just like, he's so scary. He's like, yeah, he is. He looks really cool.
It's a great design. He is a very well designed character.
It's the
And
jagged
it is the jagged teeth. But I honestly don't understand why he's doing what he's doing. But he's just having a great time doing it. So I'm like, you do you. You do you, Mr. Sinister.
And it's gonna be hilarious to see what happens next. Especially because we have wait, this needs to be this right here needs to be the clip.
Yeah.
The screen cap. Because
Because he's amazing.
It's so good. I love it. But
okay,
yeah.
I was
What's up?
I don't know. For me, I was literally not paying attention to anything that Professor X was saying. I guess I'm not a fan of the voice actor that they chose
That's
or
what
casted
my
for him.
wife said too. Like, I don't like the voice actor they had for Charles. I'm like, okay, I think it's fine, but I guess you guys are listening to something that I'm not. That's wild. But that's pretty much it, guys. X-Men has been really, really fun. We have about 4 more episodes, and then the series is over for the time being. So it's going to, we're going to cover every 2 episodes or so that we don't have to saturate you guys with it. So we'll let it sit for a bit because episode by episode, you don't really get to see what is the bigger story. So hopefully now that we kind of got through a lot of the exposition and the big tragedy happened and the bad guy has been revealed. Hopefully now we get something that's a little bit more um evenly paced. It's like there's nothing else you can go to. That's it. All the exposition go. Just focus on building the battle or the resolution within the next 4 episodes.
Yeah, because I noticed that the storyline did slow down a lot when it came to Xavier's story part. And I'm just like, okay, but I'm not very interested in this one.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But anyways, that is pretty much it.
Yeah, so thanks again for watching, everyone. Let us know if you enjoyed this X-Men review. And
Mhm.
if so, we'll continue to do it because I literally, after I watch him, I have so many feelings that I just have to share with someone.
Now my question is, when we met with your spouse last weekend, I
Mhm.
asked about the show, and he legitimately said, "Oh, that's trash." Has his opinion changed?
No, it has not changed. It continues to be confused and trash.
Okay, got it. All right.
Yeah,
Is
so
it
that's
maybe?
why I am watching it on my own and trying to understand it because I like with me, you kind of get the inside, the no insight. You don't get any insight on X Men because I don't know anything about X Men. But you do get just to like my first impressions of it as a first time watcher. And yes, peace. We'll be heading out. Thanks again for watching, everyone, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow me in at Porcelain Piggy on Instagram and follow this one in at
Mighty Max Toys. And believe
and
me, that little Shiar with the sunglasses is gonna show up again very soon. It's
yeah,
so
he's
good.
gonna
I
be
love it.
our
It's so
screen
fun.
cap. If I find the figure, I'm buying him.
It'll be a stretch if they make them.
They
But it'll be hilarious.
better. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I will see you again next time. And if you go to any other events, don't forget to tag us at Toy Tangent because we would love to see what it looks like, what's on the ground.
Yeah, and if you
And
go to the book the festival of books, I'll be there. But just make sure that you don't need to travel back in time to 2022 to go. It has happening today, 2024. Okay.
all right, bye, guys.